I am Nikhil Kumar. I am posted as Professor of English in the University Department of English in the Veer Kunwar Singh University, Ara, Bihar, in India. Today I propose to speak on the topic tragic relief in Shakespeare's principal tragedy and Sri Aurobindo's yogic discovery of rebirth. In one of my earlier talks on the topic catharsis in tragedy towards supramental evolution in the principal tragedies of Shakespeare, we may take the present topic on which I wish to speak today in continuation of the earlier one, because some potent question remains to be answered. The evolutionary change of consciousness which we find in the heroes of the three principal tragedies, Othello, King Lear and Hamlet, takes place at the fag end of their life. But soon after such an evolutionary change of consciousness, which is in fact the tragic relief, is not at all nullified by their death. One can raise an objection regarding such a nullification on account of the death which takes place soon after the evolutionary change of consciousness in Othello, Lear, Macbeth. Since this is a matter of evolution of consciousness, such an evolution of consciousness cannot take place in one birth. I have shown in my previous talk that the evolutionary change of consciousness in Othello, Lear and Macbeth is a movement towards one of the three important transformations, evolutionary transformations, of which Sri Aurobindo speaks. Sri Aurobindo speaks of the yoga of the soul transformation, or to say the yoga of psychicization of the body, life and mind, which are the three constituent parts of our being, at the center of which there exists divine self. The other yoga of which Sri Aurobindo speaks is the yoga of spiritual transformation, and the final one is the yoga of supramentalization of the being of man. So, when we penetrate into the evolutionary change of consciousness of these three characters, we find that their evolutionary change of consciousness is towards the soul transformation of body, life and mind. I would like to recapitulate this yoga of soul transformation of body, life and mind here in this talk. Just now I have stated that we are made up of body, life and mind, and at the center of these there is the divine self. The divine self exists in us in its two poises. One is the central being of which or for which Sri Aurobindo has used the Sanskrit term Jivatma, and it has produced a representative of itself in our being, which he calls the psychic being. It can be called a projection, the projection not in a three-dimensional way. It can be taken as the spark of the Jivatma, and this psychic being is behind body, life and mind. And this psychic being is very much instrumental in the evolution of our consciousness. So, when the psychic being takes over the command of body, life and mind, they come under the control of the divine consciousness of the one transcendent divine consciousness, because the divine self in man is the individual poise of the one transcendent divine which exists on its sovereign plane of existence. Prior to this soul transformation or psychicization of body, life and mind, these three are at conflict with one another, and so many mortal illness, mortal problems have cropped up in us. But when the psychic being takes over the command of these three, their separative consciousness lose their separativity. So towards this there is an evolutionary change of consciousness in these three characters. But soon after this change, they die. Othello dies, Lear dies, Macbeth dies. The evolutionary transformation of consciousness in Othello we find when he says, I kissed thee or I killed thee, killing myself to die upon a kiss. When we penetrate into these lines, we find an evolutionary change of consciousness. When Lear tells Cordelia, thou art a soul in bliss, in such a statement of Lear, there is an evolutionary change of consciousness in him. In Macbeth also, when Macbeth finds that life is a shadow of something transcendent. The original line is the life is but a walking shadow. A few lines are also there which are not very much relevant here. Life is but a walking shadow. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So life is a shadow of one transcendent. The very realization of one transcendent is an evolutionary change of consciousness in Macbeth. But after, just now as I told here, that after such an evolutionary change of consciousness, that death takes place very soon. But such an evolutionary change of consciousness doesn't nullify such an evolutionary change of consciousness. It has a significance, a spiritual significance. Because Sri Aurobindo has discovered that death is not a denial of life, but a process of life. So since the evolution of consciousness cannot take place fully means Sri Aurobindo says that the evolution of consciousness will take place finally when the transcendent divine supramental consciousness descends into the being of man, and man undergoes the divine, the capital divine transformation, that is the undergoes supramental transformation. Supramental transformation means man comes under the governance of the integral consciousness of one divine transformation. So such supramental transformation is not at all possible in one birth. So rebirth is a necessity. Therefore, such an evolutionary change of consciousness is of a great spiritual significance even after the death of these three characters. Just now as I have told you that Sri Aurobindo has stated that death is not a denial of life, it is a process of life. This is scientifically affirmed in the realm of the quantum physics when it discovers a tendency which is called probability wave, which later on congeals into electron, proton, atom and finally matter. Such a tendency is formed as a result of the change of thought taking place in the mind of the experimenter. Experimenter is a man of mental consciousness. Mental consciousness is the separative principle of the one transcendent divine supramental consciousness. So the separative consciousness can exist only when its divine origin, that is to say integral consciousness, transcendent integral consciousness, is also present there. Just as when the sun ray passes through a prism, it is divided into 7 colors, but the white spectrum of the sun ray continues to exist there. So it proves that there is the divine consciousness there. In the being of the experimenter. So this very divine consciousness is at the base of the formation of the tendency, that is called probability wave. Then it congeals into electron proton. So this very phenomenon very much supports that death is not a denial of life, but a process of life. Because at the subatomic plane of matter, wave comes into particle and particle also converts into wave. So the very becoming of wave, that is to say probability wave into particle, is a matter of birth, and the very going back of particle into the state of that very tendency, probability wave, which is not a three-dimensional wave, is a matter of death. So this very clearly shows that life is not a denial of life, death is not a denial of life, but a process of life. So a few minutes back I told you that the divine self exists in us in its two poises, and one of the poises is the psychic being, which is a representative of the central divine being, Jivatma. So the function of the psychic being is to gather all the experiences of life which are of spiritual significance. It is the psychic being squeezes the spiritual essence of all the mundane experiences of human life. And at the time of the death, as per the degree of the gathering of the spiritual experiences of the man, the future life of a man is determined in his next birth. So since there is an evolutionary change of consciousness in all these three characters of the principal tragedy of Shakespeare, or even in Hamlet Hamlet's mother Gertrude also undergoes the evolutionary change of consciousness. She also undergoes. So at the time of their death, what happens? That there is an evolutionary change of consciousness, and the very latent one, transcendent divine, evolves, and that plays a greater role in forming the future course of life in the rebirth of these three characters or four characters in the life to come. So such a evolutionary change of consciousness which takes place at the fag end of the life of the hero of Shakespeare is a matter of great significance, because it is destined to make their lives spiritually brighter. Therefore, it is stated that tragedy promises a better tomorrow for man. That's all for today. Thank you very much.